Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. It's Friday. How are you doing?
I'm all right. We got a new coordinator, and she'll be on in a minute. And so we'll be saying, so I'm excited about that.
I know you'll be excited.
Yep.
Awesome.
How are you doing?
Okay, I was on vacation the past 2 weeks. That was my first week back to catching up, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll be on vacation a week from now, going to Cuba.
Nice. Well, I say I was on vacation. I was supposed to be on vacation. Let me rephrase that. The week before I went on vacation, we had a grant opportunity dropped in our lap. And so I basically spent my vacation working on the grant because it was due Tuesday.
Right.
But I did it from home. And it's the
Right.
only thing work related that I worked on while I was out.
That's good. That's good.
So hopefully we'll get it. It's
This is Melissa
Hi, Melissa.
Hernandez. She'll be the new coordinator.
Hey, welcome aboard.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Melissa, this is Helen Tripp, Captain Helen Tripp. She is the new chair of the Homeless Services Advisory Committee.
Working on my coffee.
Didn't I meet you during my interview too?
You did.
Yeah, I was like, she looks so familiar.
You did. That was neat. Well, awesome.
Thank you. I'm really excited to get started and get into the work.
I know Ruby is. She can start focusing on her job instead of both jobs.
My other two jobs right now.
Hey, right.
She's been really good, just teaching me everything. She's really great.
I'm sure.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are y'all?
Good. It's like it's 10 o'clock and I'm the only HSAC member here.
I know it might be fortunately we don't have anything we have to vote on. I think it's just setting it a oh wait, yes we do. We got an HSAC schedule we have to approve, but see if Jonathan's coming. I don't know if Angel's coming. I haven't heard from her. I don't know if Sharita's coming. Hang on. Let me text him.
Sharita registered. I haven't seen Jonathan registered.
What'd you say, Ruby?
Sharita registered for the meeting, but I haven't seen Jonathan registered.
Okay. Let me text him and see if I can find out anything.
Well, at least with the schedule, I think, well, no, the September meeting is early, right? So we would need to vote on that.
And there's a couple others. That's the main thing. And then putting together the agenda for the HSAC meeting for August, which isn't really a vote. It's just let's get together because we got to get our elections done. The good news is I found one person to run for vice chair. So we've got a vice chair.
Okay.
And working on secretary. Ebony Thomas would be interested. However, she's tied up right now with school getting started, and then she's going to be out on maternity leave for a minute.
Okay.
So she said, she's like, how about next year? I'll do it next year. I was like, all right, that'll work. So we got a secretary for next year.
A couple of people that you had mentioned earlier weren't interested.
Yeah, I reached out. So Shay Kennard has is going to run for vice chair.
Okay.
I reached out to Shaisha at the Life Skills, and she said she's just overwhelmed right now. I can't take that on. And so I reach out to, I'm trying to think. Oh, I reached out to Chris Tones, and haven't heard back from him yet. So trying to make sure we've got like a diverse pool, so we don't have, as best we can, but we're very slim pickings on men in the HSAC.
Yeah. But we have a quorum now.
Woo-hoo!
We have 3 of the 5.
Exactly.
Is Miss Angel
Well-
still technically on the board or no?
What's
I
that?
mean, is she still technically on the executive committee?
Who?
Miss Angel.
I think,
Until she officially turns it over to me at the August meeting, she is, right?
Okay.
yeah,
Gotcha.
I think so. And we've got a guest, Elizabeth, on here. Elizabeth, would you like to introduce yourself? You can-
Hello, I'm just a citizen and I saw this was on the list of things to do. And I work over at some of the Duke clinics, especially over at Fayetteville Road and 40. And I see quite a few people there and was kind of wondering what I could do to assist with that group of folks. Kind of brainstormed a little bit, thought maybe one of our primary care clinics at Duke could probably do a weekend health check. And then maybe we could also have some organizations that have mobile units out there at the parking lot, providing services, just on a weekend day, pie in the sky sort of idea.
Sure. Well, you're joining at a great time, because we're in the process of trying to figure out how to leverage our health partners in a request to HUD. And we're supposed to, if we are applying for $2 million over 3 years, we're supposed to try and find $1 million worth of leverage services from our health partners in the community. So
Well, Duke is a 50C3, so I can't see why they wouldn't provide a little assistance for that required tax incentive.
well, it would be great. We are trying to figure out who we need to talk to try and get an MOU established. And we're not necessarily even asking for a new commitment. We're not asking for money. We're sort of saying, hey, you're probably already serving a whole lot of people who are unsheltered homeless.
Right.
And we just want to codify it and try and put an approximate dollar value on it, so that we can show HUD that the medical community is actually serving people experiencing unsheltered homelessness, as well as the homeless system, so that we can try and get maximum points. And I can't remember, I believe it's 17 out of 70 points is tied to being able to put this together. So if we can't, one of the challenges, and we're going to share it at the HSAC meeting, is if we can't get this done, if we can't get the medical community to sort of help put some MOUs in place, there's a very, very high unlikelihood of us being able to collect any additional funding to help unsheltered
I see.
homelessness.
Yeah, it's way above my pay grade, but I could certainly pass it up to
Sure.
those in charge and say, hey, we've got these 3 clinics. We got Duke Health right there at the corner of 54 and Fayetteville Road. And we have Triangle Family Practice a little farther down on Fayetteville Road, and Lincoln Community Health, which already serves the lower income community. And if we could partner with other organizations, Harris Teeter's across the street, they could provide some food assistance, having health, the city or county health departments and social services departments come out. At the same time, some primary care doctors provide a little bit of, or nurses provide a little bit of a glucose check, something like that. Just an organization on one Saturday every quarter.
Yeah, that'd be
Because
great.
they're right there on that corner, and I know that they're hanging out in that location. So coming to where they are instead of forcing them to come to where we are just seems more logical.
I'm on board for it. Would you be willing to sort of share your email address so we can reach out to you, and maybe you can help us we're trying to approach this from as many angles as we can, and
I know,
because you know, the Duke system, the Lincoln system, they're all
it's huge.
gigantic,
It
and
is
we're
huge.
trying to work it through. There's Sharita, who's on the call, works for Lincoln
Uh-huh.
as a social worker in the healthcare for the homeless program.
Yeah. So then, yeah, I work for DUHS laboratory, but I work closely with primary care doctors. So
Okay.
I could reach out to the primary care, specifically at Duke Health on 54 and Fayetteville Road, and,
Okay.
and float that idea with them, and they can find out from their leadership what is required for that. At least start it there. But,
I'm
you know, like I said, including other partners like the Harris Teeter or the Sprouts across the street
yep.
to come over with, you know, coupons for food or, you know, whatever they could do.
Mhm.
You know, I was even thinking of those big Tide machines that they transport all over the place that people could wash their clothes, and, you know, different mobile units that can provide that assistance at the same time.
Sure.
My name, I'm going to put my email in the chat for you. So it's a little
Perfect.
easier.
Perfect. And either I don't know that I'll get to it today, but Lloyd is kind of spearheading this. He's not on the call today. He works in our team. I'll make sure he kind of helps coordinate with you when he gets back back from out of town next week.
That would be fantastic.
All right. Thank you for introducing yourself, Elizabeth. We can do a brief introduction of who's on the call and a brief overview of kind of what this meeting's about. This is the executive committee of the Homeless Services Advisory Committee. So we're kind of getting together today to sort of talk through our August meeting agenda and trying to approve a schedule of meetings for the year. I'm Colin Davis. I'm the manager of the homeless system and work for the city of Durham. And we've got a good team of community development staff who are on the homeless team on the call. And we've got our volunteers who are all part of our HSAC. So I'll start with Helen Tripp. If you want to introduce yourself, Helen.
Certainly. I am Captain Helen Tritt with Durham County EMS. I manage our community paramedic program for Durham. And I am currently the vice chair, but will be the chair for the HSAC as of our August meeting.
Mhm.
Well, good to meet you.
All right, I'll go down. I'm just sort of going counterclockwise where I am. Ruby.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Ruby Holmes. I'm the homeless system analyst with the homeless services team at the community development department.
And Sharita.
Sorry, guys, I'm in my car.
No worries.
Sharita McCullers, social worker with the Lincoln Healthcare for the Homeless Clinic.
And Sharita is the chair of the Policy and Planning Committee.
Oh yeah, I'm the chair of the Policy and Planning Committee.
Angel.
Hey, good morning. I'm Angela Angel Vic Lewis. I'm the chair going out of the HSAC, and that's about it.
And Jonathan.
Hey, good morning, everybody. I'm Jonathan Crooms. I'm a veteran service officer with Durham County Veterans Services. And my office holds a permanent seat on HSAC. And so I represent our director, Lois Harvin Raven, on her behalf on the seat. And I am the current chair of the Performance Management Subcommittee.
And last but not least, Melissa, who is our newest member to the CDD team. Melissa, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. I'm Melissa Hernandez. I'm the new coordinator for the homeless systems team.
Thank you. All right. Helen or Angel, which one of you would like to run the meeting today? I know this would be Angel's last meeting as chair. And Angel, would you like to run today? Angel?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Okay.
I'm out. What did you say?
Oh, no problem. Just wanted to know if you wanted to run the meeting. I didn't get an agenda out.
No, you can go ahead. I'm listening.
Okay.
I'm actually at another meeting, but go ahead. I'm
Oh,
listening.
okay. All right. So Helen, would you like to sort of spearhead? We've got a few things that we do need to approve. Let's start with our schedule of meetings or HSAC meetings, because we need to get that approved for the upcoming year. Ruby, I believe, sent it out late yesterday, but Ruby, you want to walk folks through it, or how do you want to handle this? You guys want to look
I'll
at
walk
it?
us through it. Give me 1 second. Let me pull it up. All right. Can you all see my screen?
Yes, we can see your screen.
All right. So it's zooming out for a second. All right. So this would be our 2022-2023 Durham Continuum of Care schedule for the upcoming year. My first meeting, of course, September 24th. All of these would follow the fourth Wednesday of the month, except for September, which would be a second Wednesday. September 14th, this is to get, we need early approval for several competitions that are coming up. And we would need some approvals at this meeting in September. So this will be on the second Wednesday. October would be a fourth Wednesday, and then November and December would be moved to the third Wednesday, and December the second Wednesday due to the holidays, Thanksgiving and Christmas holidays. And then January 18th would be a third Wednesday in anticipation of the fourth Wednesday being used for the pit count. And then the next third Wednesday would be May 17th. Yeah. I don't have my calendar for me. We could change it, but May 17th would be a third Wednesday. It's also would be a full CSC meeting as well. Now I think there's a veterans, is it veterans holiday? I think that's all I need to do. Other than that, for the exec committee, the only other date that I'm unsure of is the April 2023 date. The first Friday is Good Friday. It will be a holiday and the city of Durham will be closed. And so I wasn't sure what date you all would want to have an exec meeting, either on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, that first week of April, or if you wanted to move it to the second week of April, but you all can discuss that. Any questions?
The main thing we need to do as a committee today is decide, are we going to accept these dates and pick an alternate date for the April meeting for the executive?
Yes. So this will be our meetings, basically our meeting set. And if you need to change it in the future, you can always do that as an exec committee.
Are y'all able to look at your calendars now to see what April looks like for y'all? I mean, I know we're off on the Good Friday too, so that won't work for me. But Jonathan would be off as well as a county employee.
I will likely be off on Good Friday. That's one of the holidays that Lincoln honors.
Would y'all want to do it the Friday before that, or would you rather do it earlier in the week that week?
I would suggest earlier that same week.
I'm actually going to be in Maryland that entire week.
Oh, okay.
Trying to think of it.
you could look at doing it maybe Friday, March 31st. If we wanted to keep it on a Friday.
Are you available on the 31st, Helen?
I am on the 31st, yes.
And I would not be opposed to March the 31st.
What about you, Jonathan?
Jonathan says it works for him.
All right. Well, then we can move that April meeting to March 31st. Can I get a motion from someone to approve the draft calendar with that one change for the exec committee meetings? I can't hear John.
Jonathan put in the notes,
I was-
we adopt the proposed date. So Jonathan made a motion.
Okay.
I second.
And Sharita seconds. At
All
this point, I think everybody by default agrees.
Yeah, I agree definitely. So I think that motion passes.
I think so.
All right.
All right. Next item, I have Ruby. Did you have anything else that we needed to do?
No, that's all that I have.
That's all you had. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you all.
All right. So we got to plan our August agenda. The biggest thing is elections of officers. So far, our slate of officers includes Shay Kennard, who has expressed interest in running for vice chair. I have made several phone calls to several different folks about secretary. Folks have declined for a variety of reasons. So far, I'm waiting to hear back from Chris Tones and to see if he would like to do it. Good news is I have at least 2 people who are probably willing to serve next year. It just doesn't help us in our current election cycle. So I got a couple more people to kind of reach out to see if we can fill that secretary seat. If anybody has suggestions of who to reach out to, happy to take other suggestions.
So if we don't have anyone on the agenda to vote on at our August meeting, we would put it before the committee for nominations from the floor. Is that right?
Yeah, I think that's what we would need to do. I'll do my best. We'll have to also find out, we may have some new, we have to figure out when does county has a seat that I think they might be filling at their August meeting. Does anybody know when the county commissioners are meeting in August?
It was either the second or the next, no, either the second or the 16th of August.
Okay, so we may have, if they approve somebody at one of those meetings before we may have a new HSAC member. Because I think, yeah, we only had one that we actually filled, was the nonprofit, right?
Right, and I haven't heard from them about the other 2 seats.
Okay. So we can do that. Okay, so we can do that. All right, I'll keep working through. Hopefully Chris will get back to me sometime today or early next week and continue to make some phone calls.
Hey, Colin, I referred someone with live experience to sign up for the board,
Awesome. Did you refer them to the
the
county?
city board. Yeah,
No, refer them to the county has the empty seat for lived experience right now.
the county does, because I know she's on the other board, the implementation board as well.
Okay, she would need to
I
go.
think she has lived experience. I don't know. I think so.
If she has
Somewhere
lived-
along her life, she did.
Yeah. And Sharita, your question, person with lived experience, the only person with lived experience on the HSAC right now is Angel.
and I'm not going to be on it anymore. I'm stepping away completely. I am on too many other boards and advocacies that I really, that really has my attention. I appreciate, being a part of this board, but I'm stepping completely away.
So
I have some other one. Yeah, I don't want to be a part of it.
okay. So you'll need to communicate to the city clerk, Angel, that you're resigning your position, because I think the term ends in 2024. So we can,
2024. So I thought it was just for the term to be chair or whatever.
the chair was a 1 year, but I think the position was a 3-year term that the city gave.
So I just need to be sitting on, just be in the meetings or whatever.
Yeah, you can come to the meetings. You don't have to serve as chair.
No, I don't want to do any of that. Okay, if I need to just be in the meetings, that's fine.
Do you want, and if you want, we would love to have you continue to be part of the meetings and you have a lot of insight and a lot of valuable knowledge to share with us. So I'm hoping you'll stay on the HSAC. You just won't have to do secretary, vice chair, or chair duties anymore. It'll just be the once a month meetings.
Okay, yeah, I could do that because I'm on quite a few other boards that I need to, that really has my attention right now. And okay, well, I'm sorry. Unfortunately, I got to step away from one of my meetings that's getting ready to start. So you can just call me and fill me in. Helen, thank you so much for taking over or for me. My heart just isn't in this right now anymore. Thank you all. Y'all have a great day.
Angel,
Yes.
real quick, will you be at the August HSAC meeting?
What's that date?
Is it the 24th?
Yes, the 24th.
I gotta look and see. I will personally let you know. Well, I have to be there because I got to pass the seat to you.
Right,
So
that's what I was gonna say.
I was gonna say, go ahead, pass it to yourself. Yeah, I'll be there. I'll be there for that.
Awesome, thank you so much.
Okay, I'm sorry, y'all. I'm late for this board meeting, and I will talk to you all later.
Right, thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Angel.
Bye.
All right, bye. All right.
So
all
we,
right.
the exec committee, we need to approve. Do we need to approve the nomination before it goes before the board?
I think at this point, yes, we should probably have some sort of a motion that we approve at least a slate of officers that would be so far Shay Kennard. And if you want, we can, if I get another person, we could do an email vote. If you so elect to do that prior to, so we can make a recommendation of here's the slate of officers. Go ahead, Sharita.
I have a question. Who is Shay Kennard?
Yes.
Families moving forward, is that right?
No.
No, she's
No.
the one who, she serves as secretary on the performance management committee. Yeah, she's been on there for about a year.
She ran for secretary last year and Dr. Birch won the election. She's new to the HSAC. She just started, I think, yeah, Ruby said last year. She's on a county business seat, I think.
Oh, is she?
City business.
City business.
Mhm.
I've got her mixed up with someone else then.
You're getting her mixed up with Shayna, who
Shayna,
was at Families Moving Forward.
okay,
And Shayna's no longer at Families Moving Forward. Shay Kennard, and Shay goes by Shay, but I'm blanking on what her legal name is. Ruby, do you have it in front of you?
Fantasy.
What is it?
Fantasy.
Okay. So, yeah, and as Jonathan said, and Ruby said, she's the secretary of the Performance Management Committee at this point. And she said, and I believe she's planning to stay on the performance management, Jonathan. I think because she's secretary of performance management, she wasn't feeling real comfortable taking 2 secretary roles, but felt she could do the vice chair. And I did let her know that vice chair does assume chairship the following year.
I just looked her up, so I see her picture now. I know who she is.
And I think, Sharita, you're right. Trying to get some lived experience on the board is always a good thing, and trying to achieve a racial and ethnic balance if we can as well. All right.
So as the committee, then I just need to have a motion to accept Shay's nomination for vice chair. In a second.
This is Jonathan. I move that Shay Kennard, the current Secretary of Performance Management, be nominated officially by this committee for vice chair of HSAC.
Thank you.
Sharita, would you be interested in seconding?
She might be tied up with a call.
I'm not interested in seconding.
You're not?
Okay. Okay. Got a slate. Do you have anybody that you can think of, Sharita, that we should be reaching out to?
No, not at this time. I understand that you guys have worked with the person. I just don't know the person. And so I'm thinking about, not necessarily about them filling the vice chair role, but I'm trying to imagine the chair role, that person being the chair in the upcoming year. I just don't know the person. So
Okay.
I just feel uncomfortable endorsing it.
Okay. Very understandable, and I can appreciate that. We could just say at this point, the only names, and not necessarily the executive committee putting forth a slate of officers, but we could sort of say, here are the nominations that have come forth so far. And there's not necessarily the executive committee making an endorsement.
What are the rules or policy requirement?
I don't remember off the top of my head. I don't know that we have to necessarily say, here's the slate of officers. I'd have to go read it.
Oh, Leah knows the stuff on the top of her head.
The floor would be open for other nominations. Is that correct?
Yes, the floor is always open for other nominations.
It has to be.
Yep. Yeah, the floor will be open for other nominations. I'm just trying to make sure we've got at least one person in each position so that we can actually move forward. And I reached out to Ebony Thomas. Ebony was excited about it. However, she's asking for excused absences for August and September as school's getting started and they're a little bit overwhelmed. And then she also shared with me that she'll be out from December till April because she's going to be a mommy.
Aww.
So I was very happy for Ebony to become a mom. And she did say she would be very interested in doing this probably next year when she returns to work after mommy duties begin, because we all know mommy duties never end. But when she comes back to work from that, the other person I reached out to, Shaisha at the Life Skills Foundation, and she was appreciative of the request and declined at this time as Life Skills is looking to grow and do some new things. And it's pulling her in a couple new directions, and she didn't feel she had the capacity to take on either one of the two roles. The other person I've reached out to is Chris Tonez. This is his last year of his last term of a 2-year term and his last year of that 2-year term. So if he was to agree to run for secretary, he could do it for a year, and that would create a whole new slate of officers in next year as well. But I've not heard back from Chris yet. I was also thinking about reaching out to Colleen Herbert to see if she had an interest. And the reason I didn't reach out to her yet was we have 2 females on the slate, and I was trying to balance it with at least 1 male. So if you all would like me to, I'm happy to reach out to Colleen as well.
May not have any other options other than just
I
waiting.
mean, we probably have some. Let's look at the list and see. We can go back through it again. Ruby, do you have, hold on, I got it.
Yeah, I can pull it up in a second.
Hold on, I can pull it up. I got the HSAC draft directory right here. let's go through it, see if there's anybody else that sort of gone through the list that I thought we had talked about in previous meetings. All right. Let's see here. We've got, all right, Dr. Birch's term ended. Natalie Byer. Oh, maybe Jonathan wants to run for secretary again.
So Jonathan has his hands full with performance management. Colin Davis knows that we're about to start scoring 3 different competitions.
Yeah. Oh, come on, Jonathan. I'm playing with you. I got you.
I'm playing back with you.
I know. Let's see. Colleen. Renee, maybe?
I don't have any particular opinions about many of these because I don't know them that well.
Right. Shaisha said no. I don't know if Tracy has time. Ebony said no. Vega, maybe?
Trita, do you have any preferences?
I don't know.
No.
Yeah, the thing is, we need people to just step up. And, you know, there's sort of a small core group of us that have been stepping up for some time. And we need somebody to step up that hasn't yet been in leadership yet. And I know I'm stating the obvious, but, you know, maybe there's an impassioned plea for as strong as people feel about homelessness in this community, our enthusiasm to join leadership does not seem to match it. So I think that should be reminded. We need to remind folks of that.
You know, and I'm gonna say this again, and I'm gonna sound like a broken record. We really do need to have an advocacy wing of the HSAC. And I think that it would serve us in a lot of ways. It would have people with lived experience directly in our ear, influencing what we do in real time, and not us having to go back and try to find people willing to, give us information that we need, because we be getting that information on a continual basis. But it will also let those people who are impassioned about homelessness also have an opportunity to see HSAC through the advocacy side, and bring people in that we're not doing this every time. Because we have a lot of people who are sitting in seats because they've been appointed to seats, and whereas they're willing to do the work, they don't necessarily have the time commitment or the ability to lead. And we have to, HUD is, ironically, I've been saying this, and HUD is pushing us in that direction. And some of our new funding opportunities that are coming up are pushing us in that direction, because we needed to already have that kind of direction in mind from the start. And so my plea is we really need to look at the advocacy side of what we could be doing and how we could be reaching people with real lived experience, active lived experience, or recently housed, and also bring those people who are impassioned about homelessness to the forefront of who we are and what we do, and see where they can find a part in that so they can participate.
And so I'm just gonna also put a plug there for Shay, who has been our secretary. I mean, yes, she is very new, but she has a lot of energy,
Mhm.
And she really wants to, to be involved. I get the sense that she is very interested in organizing. Yes, she's got a lot to learn about, how the HSAC works, but I think the energy and motivation is there. And she, she cannot always make our performance management subcommittee meetings, but she's the secretary and she goes back and she watches the videos and she produces the minutes. So, this is a person who does make things happen, regardless of what else, she has going on professionally and personally.
Yeah. Sharita, I think you're right. Having an advocacy group or helping to get policy and planning to be able to shift to that focus. I think we need to figure out how do we open this up to more people, because our HSAC is such a small group. It's a governing board. And the way all of this is set up is like nothing can happen without X number of HSAC members. We really need to bring in more of the continuum of care membership and community members who just have a passion for homelessness. Some of that, to do that, needs to mean changes to the interlocal agreement that establish the HSAC and changes to the governance document that we have in place. And due to COVID and staffing and all the other things, we just haven't had capacity to do that. But I do look forward to working with you and executive committee and others as we begin to fill some of the spaces and positions on the homeless team. As you may be aware, City Council approved 2 additional positions on the HSAC, not on the HSAC, 2 additional positions on the homeless team in community development. And we're currently posted to hire 3 community senior analysts who will be on the homeless team. One would be filling the Hanalea's position that she left, plus 2 new ones. Once we get all these additional folks in place, we hopefully will have a little bit more bandwidth to do some of that more proactive planning instead of what we've kind of been behind the proverbial 8 ball with constantly having to manage by crisis and which fire needs attention now. So I'm hopeful we can get to what you're saying, Sharita, and I hope we can work together to find a solution to get more input and more people involved, because the HSAC really does need, not just to show up at a meeting once a month and rubber stamp things, but really to have a deliberative body of people in those committee meetings to really wrestle with the pros, the cons, and what actually would work when some of these policies that are being wrestled with turn into reality.
Colin, could
Yes.
we just send out a solicitation to the 4 HSAC and ask if anybody's interested before the HSAC meeting?
I think we should send an email out if you want to do that, just asking for other nominations, saying we are currently looking we have 1 nomination. We have 1 person who is intending to run for vice chair. We're looking for anybody who's interested in running for vice chair or secretary. Well, I would say predominantly for secretary, because the last thing we need is 4 people saying they want to be vice chair and nobody running for secretary.
Okay.
I think that's going to be the solution for this for the moment, is to send out an email. We're already 19 minutes before the end of our meeting, and I know there's other things we need to talk about. So since we had a motion and no second, the motion failed. We will move on to our next order of business.
All right, this shouldn't take too long. This is just so we find it.
We lost Sharita.
She said she's coming back in. She lost her
I see.
sound. So this is just trying to plan our August meeting. We have the policy and planning update, which is scheduled for this meeting. Elections of officers. As you may be aware, we've got 2 COC notice of funding available of opportunities that are currently on the street and are due back in October, as well as a state ESG application that's due in October. So this is just a brief update that we thought we should share with the HSAC to make sure that they're aware that that's why that September meeting is so early. It's so that we can get all these things approved and not have to call a special meeting. And then part of the things that we have to do is we have to have written standards, and we're working on sort of edits to those. And if we can get through like an approval of these standards at the policy and planning meeting, or get those done before HSAC. Oops, hold on a second. Here we share it. If we can get through those at our policy and planning, or have an approval of them before HSAC, we probably should have HSAC adopt the written standards, the updates to them. Anything else that anyone can think of that needs to be addressed at the August HSAC meeting? Anyone? Oh, here comes Sharita.
Sorry, I'm just talking away and you can't hear a word I'm saying. So the very first part of the meeting would be the transition. Angel would call the meeting to order and then do the transition to me.
Yes.
And then I'm going to say some words of kindness towards Angel and thank her for all of her 3 years of service, because she was secretary, vice chair, and then chair, right? Did she serve all 3 roles?
She did.
Yeah. Yeah, I know, because that's right. I was secretary when she was vice chair. She kept talking about, I didn't have to do the minutes.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'll try and put these in order. Anything else?
I know the first 2 absolutely have to be done. The CS info and the state ESG absolutely needs to be done. Is that right?
The which piece? The election of office, the first 2 do, and then the approval of written standards. Assuming we can, we were debating this, whether or not HSAC had to fully adopt the written standards, or if policy and planning could adopt them. We figured it was probably best to at least make the HSAC aware of the updates to the standards.
Okay.
Because the state ESG application requires us to submit the updated written standards, or the written standards, with our application. And the other reason we're going to need it is we've got HUD planning to come monitor us for our ESG CV funds. And one of those requirements is to have written standards.
This election of officers could take 5 minutes or 25 minutes. It depends on how much discussion we have.
We'll just put 15 for now.
15, yeah.
We of course have the with the transition of officers. We got the approval of minutes. It's usually about 5 minutes.
Any public comments?
Yep. Pretty rare.
Okay.
Election of officers. Policy and planning update. Sharita, how long do you think you would like for a policy and planning update?
It's time for that again? That was quick.
No, right? Maybe we should look at, I don't know, we're doing them quarterly, but we could look at, there might be a change to the governance document that we could look at doing them less often, or yeah, but yeah, policy and planning's up. And granted, at least one of the months there was no meeting. So I think some of the policy and planning update that I can think of off the top of my head, Sharita, is going to tie into some of the stuff that we've got to work through at this current meeting related to these NOFOs.
Right.
So we could either make your update longer and shorten some of this NOFO update, because one of the things that I would like to see if we can talk through at the HSAC and make sure that the HSAC is aware is we are really struggling to kind of get our health partners to get in touch with us, and we're really struggling to get some documentation in hand that we really have to have if we have any hope of getting $2 million over the next 3 years.
Well, look, the sad part is all of the stuff that you talked about when you were speaking with Miss Lord.
Elizabeth Wood.
It's stuff that we do that's done in my clinic every day.
Right. And all we need to do is get something written down. And here's approximately what the value of this is that we're already doing for unsheltered homelessness, basically putting it into an MOU with a dollar amount. And you're already doing it. We're not asking to do anything new. But we just need to get the right person to figure out what do they need to be able to get this signed.
I connected Lloyd to our CEO, and then I also suggested to Lloyd to petition to Angel to help push it, because Angel's on our board, is on our board of directors for Lincoln.
Yep. And Lloyd was going to reach back out to Angel and see if she's had any luck to push it. I talked to Reginald in our office, and he suggested, Sharita, does, blanking on the woman's name that you sent the stuff to,
Claretta Ford is the CEO.
does she have an executive assistant?
She does.
Could you get me her contact information? Because I figure we can maybe give her a call and see if that would help grease the wheel.
Sure, and I will, because it sounds like Claretta hasn't responded at all. I will reach back out to her too. So, because I've only did it via email. I haven't spoken to her.
Okay.
So I think her speaking with me and understanding that, hey, we're already doing it. It's just a matter of quantifying it.
Mm-hmm.
It's where something would need to be done. It doesn't require us to do much of anything additional unless we just want to do a better job at showing who is literally on the street and who's not.
Yeah. And
Right.
if we're able to use this, and if we can help leverage this into getting you some additional help and support in there, I'm all for it, Sharita. So yeah, think through it. If there's a way that we can use this to leverage getting you the things that would make your job easier, if we can do that, I'm more than happy to add that to an MOU if possible.
So yeah, I will have a conversation with Angel, and I will reach out to Claretta myself, and I'll get you the her administrative assistant's email address and name and number.
Okay.
Okay.
That'd be awesome. Thank you. Lloyd's taking kind of the lead on this. I'm just covering it while he's out. He'll be back on Tuesday. But when you send it, just send it to Lloyd and me, and we'll follow up with you and whoever you tell us to.
Okay, that works.
You got it. Thank you. All right, Chris Tonez just emailed me, and he may be having to step off of the committee altogether due to his work commitments that are being expanded. So he's a no on the secretary.
Colin, when you email him back, can you let him know to let us know when he makes a decision?
Yes, because he'll also need to let
Yeah,
city.
the clerk know.
Yep.
City, he should be city.
Yep. I'm adding this. Thank you, Jonathan, for putting this in the chat that we've got the committee seats because we have some turnover in places. So Ruby will need to figure out which committee seats we have some vacancies on.
I know at least Bert's,
What's that?
Dr. Bert's seat on performance management for sure.
Do we have any over at on policy and planning? Oh yeah, Christy.
Yeah, Christie CSE liaison. So that'll take policy and planning down to 2 CSE liaisons.
When she leaves, it takes it down to 2, so we need to fill the third.
Mhm.
Okay, so we got 1 CSE liaison position to
And if Chris
performance
leaves,
management is an HSAC seat, right?
yes.
And we'll go through and double check, see if there's anything else.
Yeah, and if, I don't know if Miss English said she'll stay on the standing committees, but she's on both as well.
I'll check with her.
Okay. And if Chris steps down, that'll be another HSAC seat for performance management.
We're gonna run out of time.
All right, well, I think this is pretty much all we've got for an agenda. It's gonna be a pretty full agenda.
Mhm. We've already got 35 minutes from this stuff that's already, you've already put time.
Yep.
on. So at least 55 minutes for the rest.
Okay. So I think unless there's anything else that we need to go over, I would say let's keep this as our agenda and, you know, knock on wood, nothing sort of pops up and surprises us in the next couple of weeks that has to be added. But right now, I think these are the big things. Does that look like an okay agenda?
It's gonna be a busy day.
A busy couple months ahead of us.
Yeah.
All right, anything else? Sharita, I'll send you an email with sort of kind of thoughts for policy and planning on Monday. And you can take a quick look at it.
You're gonna send it to me before Monday, right?
I'm going to send it to you. Try to remember, probably by lunch or right after lunch if I don't get it to you before then.
Okay.
Yep.
And you and I'll get together at some point too. Yes.
Yes. Yes. We will set up a meeting. We can chat and figure out a time offline to sort of do a monthly prep meeting if you want.
Definitely. I have one quick announcement, something that I had talked with Hanalea about, but in April, our department applied for the first responder comprehensive addiction recovery grant. We got it.
Did you?
We did.
That
Yes.
is so cool.
Found out.
Awesome. Way to go, Helen.
Yes, I'm excited. So that's like $400,000 a year for the 4 years. And the big push and something that I'm going to be getting with y'all about is I want to do, check first to see if this already exists, but I want to make sure we have a task force that can work on, it doesn't have to be a permanent task force, just something to get us started and make sure we're doing this right, to work on getting naloxone into the community and to providers who need the naloxone on hand for potential overdose emergencies, to provide education to the people who will be using that information about how to store, and of course we'll have educational and resource information available with the naloxone kits as well. just some kind of rule, not guidelines. I don't want to say policies or rules, but some guidelines. It's okay, if somebody overdoses in your facility, this is what you need to do. How to recognize it, this is what you need to do. Kind of like, you know, when with the AED on site, call 911, grab the AED, right? Or grab the AED, call 911, something like that. But yeah, so that's something that I'm going to be looking to do in the next little bit. Right now we're in the process of doing the agenda action stuff that has to be done to get it on the board's agenda so that they can actually approve it and we can actually use it. Because obviously we can't do anything with it until they tell us we can. So once all that's done, I'll be reaching out. But I just wanted to let you know, we did get that grant and I'm so excited. This second year of that grant is for our team to start doing MAT in the field for people who overdose in the field. So we can get them on Suboxone and get them started and get them connected to treatment. So that's going to be exciting.
That's awesome. Is there any way that we can somehow codify that and be able to use that as some of the leverage with our COC grant? Because, you know, substance abuse,
I think that
I
was a
feel like
great
it's
idea.
leveraged, and I mean, I'm sure not all 400,000 of it per year is going into unsheltered homelessness, but some percentage of it would probably be dedicated to that group.
Well, yeah, because that one of the several of the groups that we want to include are the shelters who need to have naloxone on hand, and the other services like Open Table. Open Table's already made some arrangements with public health to get naloxone, but there's other groups that are going to want that, and you know, we'll be able to make sure they get that.
Okay, so I will get with Lloyd when he gets back, and maybe we can figure out a way to who would need to sign that type of an MOU.
That would be our department head. It's either going to be Mark Lockhart or Jim Groves. Mark, our division chief, and Jim is our department head.
Okay, yeah, Jim.
I know.
Okay. He's a cool guy. He would sign it.
Really is. He's amazing. I love having him as our director. You can tell him I said that.
All right. Should I give him a call and see if he'd be open to signing something like that so he doesn't get blindsided, or is it better for you to sort of have that conversation originally?
I've already got the information from Lloyd because he emailed it to me.
Perfect.
And I was on vacation when he emailed it. Well, I was supposed to be on vacation. I ended up working on another grant during my vacation instead.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm going to be looking at that and getting with y'all about that.
So let's make sure we include the naloxone. And then one of the other things that you guys always do are the flu vaccinations and COVID vaccinations. So if we can figure out a way to codify those types of things as well and add that into the MOU, that, hey, community paramedics are planning to continue to do this for the next 3 years, you know, and if Jim's not comfortable saying, yeah, we're going to do it for 3 years, it's like only if these funds come through, we can add that caveat in there so that if there isn't funding to do it, you're not on the hook in perpetuity if we don't get funded for the projects.
That sounds great.
Awesome. Woohoo! Making progress.
Yes, definitely. Well, if anyone has anything else, speak up. If not, we will call this meeting adjourned. May I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I move that we adjourn.
I'm assuming Jonathan's going to second. There you go. All right, meeting is adjourned. Y'all have a wonderful week, and thank you so much for all your hard work.
Thanks all. Have a great day.
Bye.